Synthetic data is going to be basically the underlying fuel that powers the development of AI systems.
Welcome to AI Factor, coming to you from the NASDAQ market site. We're talking to John Myers, Gretel co-founder and CTO, about the role of synthetic data in the AI boom. Thanks for being here, John.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about the importance of data in building out AI and where AI is headed.
You know, what we do at Gretel, we specifically focus on enabling enterprises to utilize AI and, more importantly, utilize their data within AI systems. Enterprises are sitting on a mountain of data, and AI systems are challenging to use when you have that amount of data. It's not necessarily feasible to just plug it into an AI system. So what we based Gretel on was, what if we could take that mountain of data and kind of condense it down so it is safe to use, first and foremost, that we can remove the privacy risks from it. And what if we could make it smaller and more portable so it's easier to plug into AI systems? It's more financially feasible to test AI systems with that data. And also that data is of high quality. If you take that downsized data, now you can rapidly experiment with these AI systems and really figure out what kind of problems that can be solved.
Right, and Gretel is a leader in synthetic data. Can you tell me a bit about what it is, how it's generated, and why it's become such an important sort of flashpoint for developers today?
Sure, there's kind of two big buckets of synthetic data. One is taking your existing data and making it safe to use. And then the other one is a lot of enterprises are trying to solve a lot of what if problems. What if we had this type of data? What if we could build a product around a type of data that we don't have? So that's where Gretel has capabilities to generate data we call from scratch. Can you just bring an idea to AI systems, and then we can kind of get these AI systems to generate data from just user input. Hey, describe your data set to me. What are you looking for? What kind of format do you want it in? Because a lot of these AI systems and these models out there already have a lot of broad general knowledge, and you can combine them in unique ways to generate data from scratch. And then you have to guarantee that it's safe to use and it's diverse and of high quality. And Gretel has an entire evaluation suite that kind of gives you almost these reports that are almost like a certificate that says, hey, this data has these statistical properties that you're looking for. Here's how it lines up to the real world data that you have. Here's all the privacy checks that we ran on it to make sure that it's free of privacy risk, whether it's not having personally identifiable information in the data, or there's also these complex attacks you can run on data that might seem anonymized, but can actually leak sensitive information.
Right.
We run those types of attacks automatically, which are really complex, and give you a report that says, like, basically a report card that says, yep, this is good from a quality and a privacy standpoint. And that's really Gretel's unique edge, is being able to enable enterprises to feel safe to even use that data.
Right, and that's especially key in sectors like financial services or healthcare, where these companies have so much sensitive data. And so how do you kind of balance, or how do you process that data in a way to make it more secure and more usable for enterprises?
Gretel's suite of products that we call a Navigator allow software engineers to basically extract the information from its raw source and then run it through a lot of our capabilities to create that output data. And then they're able to share that within the enterprise. And so we're working with some of our partners to build out these model and data exchanges so that data is more easily accessible to the enterprise. And I think that's an important thing to note about AI in the enterprise, is that a lot of the AI tools and systems out there are actually going to lower the bar for adjacent professionals to build solutions. So you're not always going to have a software engineering team to undertake this huge software engineering project inside of an enterprise. You're going to have your adjacent jobs, like your analysts and your product managers, be able to rapidly build out and say, can I solve a problem just by using the AI tools that are out there?
Last month, Microsoft announced that Gretel was integrated into the Microsoft OpenAI Azure service, which gives people access to its most powerful language models. Can you tell me a little bit about that partnership and how synthetic data is able to ramp up some of that training and development and building that these companies are doing with AI?
Yeah, so we have a couple of different integration points with Azure. One of them is having Navigator, which is our flagship product, natively available within the Azure suite. This allows enterprises that are already approved to use Azure tools to immediately pick up Gretel and get started creating synthetic data. And so by using Gretel to create a lower volume, high quality data, we can then directly integrate with the OpenAI service to say, hey, I want to fine tune an OpenAI model to expertly answer questions for this proprietary system and maybe improve the customer success of, the customer experience by improving customer support.
Right. And so synthetic data, from what it sounds like, can really help streamline a lot of the training and this model building that's going on right now. Do you think that synthetic data is going to be key in sort of the rapid pace that AI is seeming to take in terms of the next couple of years and where it's headed?
Absolutely. I think synthetic data is going to be basically the underlying fuel that powers the development of AI systems, and specifically the data that goes into it.
Do you see it replacing raw, real data, or more supplementing it, or what's the sort of proportional breakdown that you can imagine?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't see it replacing raw data because, as you mentioned, you mentioned some highly regulated industries like finance and healthcare. They're obligated to keep raw data for certain needs, whether it's to answer legal questions or you don't want to throw away real healthcare data and healthcare records. I think what you're going to find is that there's going to be a pretty big boundary that says when we want to build applications or put this data to work, let's take a synthetic version of that data and use that. And then that's going to be where your applications are built at the enterprise layer, while that raw data is used to you refine it down into that synthetic data.
What do you see as the next stage for AI, and how do you think synthetic data will help AI get there?
We're going to start to see more native AI capabilities come out of the existing household names. So right now, if you look at the big AI players, you have OpenAI, you have Anthropic. When companies want to actually take advantage of AI for the consumer, they're going to have to start to build similar looking products where it's like, hey, I want to chat with an Apple assistant to help me navigate how to use my iPhone. Apple's going to have to build that. And they might use those other tools like OpenAI and Anthropic under the hood,
right,
but they're going to have to build those capabilities into their products because they have all the knowledge about that product. Synthetic data will be key there because if you want to push these capabilities onto a device, right, like Apple Intelligence just launched, you can't push these massive large language models onto the phone. You have to train these models and fine tune these models on a smaller amount of data that is purposely built that can push these types of capabilities out to what we call the edge, right? The edge devices where consumers can actually use them. And same thing with the enterprise, all the edge devices that are out there to make intelligent decisions, as opposed to sucking all the data into a central choke point. We want to push AI out into the products that customers are using and meet them where they're already at. Don't introduce a net new tool. If you're already used to using your email client, we know Azure is pushing Copilot capabilities into Office 365. We're going to see evolutions there where it can continue to help you in the areas that you already work.
Right, everything will just be more integrated.
Right.
Great, thank you so much, Sean. Thanks for watching. I'm Rocio Fabro for Quartz. Stick with QZ.com for more.